Hello everyone, this is Mike Taylor, your friendly neighborhood SAP Business One consultant. Hello to all my sapiens. I'm glad you're here with me. If you're new, please subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. I'm going to be producing more videos if people are interested. And if you are interested, please go to support me, all one word, .battleshipcobra.com. You can see that little scroll bar at the bottom. It'll be spinning around continuously, reminding you. If you like my videos, look, I can't monetize them. I'm not really here to make money, but if you could just check out my Crystal Reports course, it's not very expensive. If you ever want to learn Crystal Reports, get it on Udemy. It's a great platform. Otherwise, I have some other deals. If you send me a couple bits, like if you have any Bitcoin, send me a couple pennies or something. It just would be kind of cool to know that people are out there and are interested in supporting me directly. I don't monetize the videos or anything, so that's all I'm going to say. I made the supportme.battleshipcobra.com page, so I don't have to go through all of my little deals, but there's some coupon codes if you're interested, so check the video description for more information. Today I'm going to be doing a quick live stream version of adding a business partner through the DTW. So I used to do videos more edited, and I would go through, and it took me a couple hours per video. So what I'm trying to do is more content and less production, less overhead. So I think the end result will be good. I still do prepare, I just don't edit as much basically, and I try to do everything live just like it was a webinar. Helps improve my skills as well, and I think bringing content to you quicker is something that you would appreciate. So I did get this question, how to add a business partner through the data transfer workbench. So I'm going to go through kind of my best practices, what you have to do. I'll show you an example, and I'll actually do an update. So here we go. So first thing you need is some data. So normally you're likely going to be a new customer, or maybe you just want to add some leads. Who knows what you want to do. We are, in this case, just going to add customers, which is the default. So I have some data here. I've just prepared a really basic data set. So if you would continue on here, you can have hundreds. Just make sure that you have the record key matched. Card code you're going to make by yourself. In this case, I use something like C000100. You're going to get a lot of customers that want to do things like, I mean, my name is Mike Taylor, so they're going to say MTAY001 and stuff like that. In my opinion, there's no reason to do this because in SAP Business One, anywhere you can really search for the code, you can search for the name. I don't believe there's any reason to have Mike Taylor 001, especially like if you have John Smith. I mean, you're going to have MTAY002. It doesn't make any sense. It's not super valuable information when you can just put star Taylor or use a unique code, because the thing is, maybe you have the same customer accidentally created. I just think you should use the codes and then just set it to automatically increment the coding, and it just reduces one of those things that you don't want to have to search through all of your customers to make codes. It doesn't make any sense. So I recommend just doing a code like this. It's very straightforward. So these are my names of my customers. So you're going to say, where did I get the basis of this template? Well, when you install the DTW, and you can get that from your partner, or obviously if you're a partner, you should have that as included with your patch level. Today I'm going to be demonstrating on 9.2 PL6. So once you install that, you're going to get these various tables. So if you haven't seen any of my other videos and you want to do a business partner import, you go into Business One, view system information, and you can hold your mouse over this. And I don't know if you can see the bottom there with what I'm showing on my screen, but I'll move this up here. So you can see that the table is OCRD and the actual field is card code. So you can see these various pieces of information here. And I'll show you how to find all of these right from the template. So I know that this is a business partner, And I know that the main table is OCRD because you can see in the bottom left, I can't point at both at the same time. You can see OCRD.card name. You should be familiar with some of the table names. I mean, if you're a customer, maybe not, but it's a pretty basic one. So you go back to your templates, double click, and you're going to get the template here. So this is the template. It has all of your field lengths. So it's important if you have a customer name, field length 100, what I'll do is I'll just double check this. So what I'll do here is I'll do length. If people, if I've got information from a customer, I'm just going to do length and I'm going to copy this down all the way. Obviously, I only have 3. Copy this down all the way and I'll filter for anything over 100 and I'll clear that out because it's going to validate incorrectly. So it's one of the things you're going to want to do for every one of these fields if you're not familiar with it. So you're going to see phone can only be 20, phone 2 can be 20, fax can be 20, etc., etc. So you're going to see a lot of these things where you're going to run into issues where people, you always get people that are this and then they put 604 555 123 7, call John, etc. All this crap it's going to screw up your information, so you have to filter for and control those because anything over 20 is going to cause an error, and you're just going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So when you're looking here and you copy these over, you're going to see here that you get the lengths. I stripped those out. This is an example I'd used from before. So in order to import a business partner, you really just need record key, card code. I don't think you even need card name, but obviously card name's good. And group code. I don't think you need any of these other ones. These are the ones I've just brought in as examples. If you're doing vendors, you do need card type, and you can see there the valid values is C customer. Actually, I'll just add that in order to I'll just add that in here. So where'd my card type go? So you can see here, card type, OCRD.card type, it matches in the data source there, and I can look in this comment and I see C customer is a valid option. So the DTW needs to see C customer there. By default, it is already C customer, but you can see supplier and lead as well. Okay, so now what I'm going to talk about is all of these fields. See how I only have a short list? You don't need to use this template and have all of these fields. There's no requirement to do that. You can see all the properties and everything. There's no point. There's no reason to do that. So just delete the ones you don't want. Again, I think you only need these 4. I could be wrong, but I think you only need those 4. So everything else is optional in terms of the main header and pieces of information. I'll also show you how to do addresses and I'll also show you how to do contact persons. So another little weird thing about Business One is with the DTW, a lot of these DTW codes on top here. So you're going to see the row 1 is the one that the DTW looks at. The row 2, the DTW doesn't care about. So you can make notes here, and I have an example here in the CRD where I've renamed this to address line 1 and address line 2. You can leave line 2 blank if you want. It doesn't matter, but this can also be used as references. The other thing to remember is if you're looking for a specific thing in here and you can't find it, the second row is actually, the second row is actually the database column. So if you're looking at this here, you're going to look at, where's salesperson? How come I don't have salesperson in there? Right there. So you can see SLP code in the bottom right of Business One there, SLP code. Then you look back here, SLP code is here, but what the DTW wants to see is salesperson code. So if salesperson code, I have them both the same there, but I can copy this over. So if you want to search for it in the second row and you'll find it. But again, you need to have this DTW code or they won't, the DTW won't have any idea what you're doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is show you when you're doing this type of stuff, Let's look at this as an example. Sales manager. So let's just take sales manager. So it's going to come in generally something like this. Mike Taylor. And let's just do another one. Jim Boswick. Jim Boswick. Is that right? Yes. You're going to get something like this from your customer more than likely. And you're also probably going to get something where you have an actual group name. But with both of these and with a lot of other fields, you're not going to be able to say sales manager or Mike Taylor or Boswick, or for example, customers. Oops. So we need to convert the code at least and the salesperson into the actual code that SAP is going to see. So you're going to need to do that a lot. So understanding this concept is very, very important here. So I'm going to show you a really basic trick to find out what it is. So you have group code. So let's just go in here and check. So we have group code. Just going to restore these here. So group code you can see here. So I know that if I look in SAP, I have group, and at the bottom it says ocrd.groupcode. Go to tools, go to queries, go to query manager. We're going to type in ocrd, which is the table. And you're going to see if it is a code like this, it's a bold table or a bold field. So I'm going to click, left click and hold and drag this into the data sources here. And then in this case, I'm just going to clear out OCRD. I don't need it. I just want the list of OCRGs. So we're doing this here and we click copy table. What I like to do is put VLOOKUP. And then if you're not familiar with VLOOKUP, look for it on Google. And what you can do is you can convert this over so that you can convert the names of the specific groups into a code that SAP understands. So you give this range an actual name, groups, you go back here, so this is customers, I make a new column, equals VLOOKUP, this is the value, groups, I want to return table 2 and false, I want an exact match. If you don't know what VLOOKUP is, just look it up. And then this will just switch everything to it. Okay. Copy, advanced, paste special, and you just want the values. You want to get rid of this as a formula. And then you can just delete this. It doesn't matter anymore. Salesperson code, another little trick here. Copy this. So you're going to want the data. So you're going to need a couple of throwaway spreadsheets here. Copy this out. So you want to know what you need to make in SAP. Here, say there was, tons and tons and tons of these just repeated, repeated, repeated. You want to know what are the unique values. Data, advanced, unique records only. And now you know you only need these 3 created in SAP. So what I do is I'll just copy that. Sales person name. Now what I'm going to do is make these in SAP. So they're already created in my example. And I'm going to do the exact same thing as this. Once it's made in SAP, then I'm going to get the table again. So I go ocrd.slp code. OCRD is the table. Then I just go skim, 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 skim. SLP code. See, it's bold. Nice. So you have to turn it into a thing. OCRD. Close that. And then execute it just for OSLP. Right click, copy table. So in this case, we don't need this. We don't need the, oh, sorry, we did need that one. We don't need any of these things. So now what we need to do is just match these. Normally you could probably just switch this around like I did for the other one. So we're just going to take this and we're going to switch this. So we want Jim Boswick. Jim Boswick is 5. Mike Taylor 7, sales manager 1. Okay, then we delete that. So then what we do is keep this nice and neat. Boom, boom. We're going to set this array with a name just to make it easier. So highlight the array you want. I'm going to just type sales, switch back to OCRD, make a new column, copy this, equals VLOOKUP. Ah, so first you need the value. Sales, column index 2, false, you want an exact match. 1, 7, and 5. Click the whole column, right click, copy, right click, paste values, because you don't want that formula to stick in there. And that's all you need to do. So you're going to see this a lot with almost everything. Like currency codes you're going to need to match. You can't just put CAD or USD. It doesn't work that way, so you need to make sure you have the right code. For addresses, you're going to need the country to match. You're going to need the state to match. You're going to need the country to exist. So in some cases, you're going to need to actually make the country. Okay, so let's move on. So OCRD is the main table. That's all I'm going to import. Very simple. So make sure you check the lengths. Make sure you check these codes. Make sure you set these properly. So other things you're going to need are like payment terms, price list codes. A lot of other different things are going to need to be converted to codes. So let's jump into addresses. So the address, let's go into Business One here, and we're going to close these down. So let's just take this as an example, addresses. So you can look in the bottom, it's CRD1 and street. So CRD1 is the table, CRD1. So again, this doesn't have too many, but you know, it definitely has more than I have. So let's say the one I need here. Where's type? Type, address type. So then this has it. So you see I've matched the code there, BO underscore bill to. Usually what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll just take the exact same thing here. So let's just how am I going to do this here? BO bill to. So my kind of thing for this. So normally what I'll do is I'll do all of the customer addresses once as a bill to with line number 0. Then I'll do all of them again with line number 1 and BO ship to. And then what I'll do is I'll just stack them on top of each other and then I'll sort them. So I'm going to say, let's sort this. So I'm going to say sort, and then that's it. So then it sorts them in. These need to be sorted as record key, and then 0 is the first one, which is bill to, and then 1 is shipped to. So you can have more than one address. So maybe you have more ship tos. This needs to be 2, and you could put those in there. You could, so you can end up having more than one. So this could be 3. So this case, this BP has 4 addresses, 1 bill to and 3 ship tos, all nice and ready to go. So this line number is just set to be 0, 1 when you're importing them in the specific order. So all the same things kind of apply. You want to look at the template. You don't need all the rows. I think you just need probably these, address name, etc. So this is customer 1. I've just named them the same as the customer, done some example information, city. Make sure you check that your state and your country exist. Put your tax codes. Tax codes, as you know, are only defined on ship to addresses for customers. So make sure that you have that all set up and matching properly under your tax code line. OCPR is a similar thing. Oh, wait, for CRD, the record key has to link to the record key here. So record key 1, record key 1, record key 1, record key 2, 2, 2, etc. So these make it for the specific customer, and then these are the rows within that particular customer. So same thing, 1 OCPR, we're going to do our contact person here. So you can see at the bottom OCPR name. OCPR. This has a lot more table or a lot more columns than I have put in mine. I just have the record key to match, the card code, the line number. So this has 1 to 1 has 0, 2 is 0, 3 is 0, but number 3 has 2. Just as a test, I've done 2 to this one business partner. Okay, so you can see 1, so number 3, customer test number 3 has 2, 0, 1. You can keep adding to this. Copy 4, 5. So this would be 2, this would be 3, example 2. Okay, so this is for all for the same customer, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the row number. So I'm just going to leave it on 2 for my example now. Okay, so make sure you save the spreadsheet before you do this next step. Make sure that you do not save it right now to a text file formatted for the DTW or you'll lose all your changes. So save everything exactly how you want because from this point on, you will not be able to make any changes that will be saved in this Excel file. So this becomes your source file. So now what you do is I always work with tab delimited for master data. So you go to File, Save As, Computer. Then we go to tab delimited. And I'm going to save this as OCRD. This is OCRD, okay? So what it's done is it's saved this, but it technically has gotten rid of the rest of the data because I've saved this as a tab delimited text file. So if I made a bunch of changes, I did a bunch more stuff, this will not save to that original spreadsheet anymore. But what I can do is continue on with this. So I'm going to go here, File, Save As, CRD1, OCPR, File, Save As, OCPR, okay? So my process here is now I close my spreadsheet just to remind myself that nothing that I'm going to do will be saved after this. So I'm just going to shut all these down and I'm going to restart my example here. So I have my example back. So this is my spreadsheet all nice and clean. So you can see in OCRD it saved it as tab delimited. Everything is all hunky-dory in here. And we have all of our data ready to be output into the DTW. So you're ready to go here. You run your DTW, log on. Log on to your test system. Import master data. We're going to add new data. We're going to go business partner, master data. We're going to click tab delimited. If you have this on comma delimited, it will not find your files. Tab delimited. So I'm going to use business partner, BP addresses, contact employees, OCRD, CRD1. You can name these if you can name these BP address if you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be. I just use CRD1 because I'm just very familiar with the tables. Okay. Bingo bango. Check that everything is matched here. If you have blanks, shut everything down, delete your tab files, and restart from the spreadsheet. Don't just go into the tab file and try to edit it. It won't work. In my experience, even trying to change these maps, it's pointless. There's no point. It just doesn't even work. I've had issues with it. So if you want the best end result, because 99% of the time you're going to have to do this more than once, so you might as well go keep everything clean, delete your tab files or the tab file that's broken, go back to your spreadsheet, redo it, and then resave as tab, close your spreadsheet, and then come back in here because trust me, it's not going to work out. So everything, because I did everything very simply, everything matches. You can do UDFs in here as well. There's nothing stopping you from doing UDFs. Literally just name the column the UDF name as in whatever it is in OCRD, and it'll work fine. As long as the data types work, it's fine. So ironically, I don't have any, but it would be U underscore or whatever the UDF name is. You can import that. Okay, next. Generally, I'm always going to do a simulation because the simulation is going to tell me what's wrong. If I'm pretty close, I'm going to say ignore all errors and run the simulation because I want a full list of everything that I'm going to have to change. So it might be something like country codes don't match. You have something where fields are too long or specific things are not working. You want to make sure that you have all that information so you don't have to do one thing and then go back and save it and upload and go back and do one thing and save it, upload. Just ignore all the errors. Obviously, if you have some fundamental issue or maybe on your first time, ignore up to 10 errors because you might have the same error like 1,000 times and you don't want to see that. So leave it on ignore up to 10 errors on the first time. Run your simulation. Take a drink. Um, so now you see number of errors detected. We're all good. So now what I'm going to do is typically go and back up my database before I do this. If I want to back up my database, let's go into SQL Management Studio and do that. You want to do that before doing this. So if you screw up something really bad, you don't have to spend a bunch of time doing updates. Some things are harder to update than others. Maybe you made some big mistake. So just do the backup. If you screw up, you can restart from that backup. Obviously, you don't want to do this on a live system. If you're doing it on a live system, do it outside of regular business hours. Make sure that the customer knows or make sure that your users know in case you have to kick them out and restore it. So you also don't want to be doing this while people are accessing the OCRD table. It can cause issues, especially with updates. You don't want to do it while users are actually using the system. So I'm assuming you have a clear system and you're ready to go. Click next. It's doing it. Import. Works so good. So this is extremely unusual that this is going to happen the first time. 99% of the time you're going to have like, field X is too long. Country code Canada doesn't exist because it needs to be CA, etc. So this tells you pretty much what you're going to expect. Some of these error messages are pretty cryptic, so search on, just go to Google and search SCN. The SAP Business One forums have a lot of good information. Just search for the error code and just put SAP Business One after it. And a lot of times you're going to see people making some recommendations. Close this. So let's go and just double check that everything came through properly. So here we're going to go to Business Partner. We're going to check this. So you can see we have customer test number 1 with my code, customer group, sales manager, contact persons in there, addresses are in there. Let's do our number 3. Contact persons are in there. And everything is good. Tax codes are in there. So the one thing that is extremely common, which I want to talk about, is commas. So people have commas. This is somewhat common with card names as well, but I mean, you're going to get this with items probably more so. Commas, you're going to get things like quote marks and weird strings, which are going to cause this to happen. So this is my spreadsheet. What you're going to get is, let's save this as tab OCRD. So let's look at OCRD. So you get this here. So you see what it does is it like wraps it in a text. So if you've ever done this, and I always see this with customer names, and I always see this with address names. So I'll show you my trick to get around this. And my trick, see this, you got to close it. Always close it. Just get used to it. Just keep a folder and do that. So in this case, let's just say we're dealing with quotes. Whatever. Well, let's do the comma. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go here and I'll say Control H. Control H is find and replace. So we want to find comma. Replace it with something you're not going to see anywhere. Usually I use tilde, which is just above the tab, shift, and the number just above the tab. You can use whatever you want that's totally unique. You could use a star, you could use a whatever, percentage sign or whatever. Something that's not going to trigger that all of those all those things. Because in the end, especially with quotes, it might be like 1 inch in the description. So you still need that double quote. You don't want to get rid of it. You still might need that comma. So whatever's causing that is going to be replaced with this when it's saved. So you see it's replaced with a tilde. Then what I'm going to do is save as tab, OCRD, close, OCRD. So you can see now it shows a tilde, and I'm going to replace that in here using Control H. Let's look for tildes and just put back what I need. So it's not an issue with the DTW if it's like this. I think it's mostly to do with Excel saving into tab. It treats it like a string and it tries to put these things around it. Double quotes. So you're going to see that. So use my trick. Replace it. Use Control H in Excel. Save it as tab, and then use Control H and switch it out, and you will be okay. So that is it for the very basic way of doing or adding business partners. Remember, if you want other fields, just look for whatever those fields are, and then if you have to make a UDF, look at the UDFs, those can be added. Search in your templates for the field name at the very bottom, so phone 2, all these different things. Make sure you match the codes, make sure you check the lengths in the various templates here. Make sure you check for the lengths. It is really worth checking lengths just quickly. Remember to use equals length and just scroll all the way down. Oops, fill all the way down. You can use Control D or whatever, and then just filter for anything over 0. So in this case, I don't have anything. So if this was like 100, filter for anything over 100 and either fix it, shorten it, send it back to the customer to look at it or whatever. But just do your validations before. It's going to save you a lot of time. And remember, when you're doing your simulation, ignore all errors and let it run if you're reasonably comfortable that it's going to just give you small errors. And then take that list, look in the log manager. You'll have this list. So here's an example when I was doing the preparation. Link value 113 doesn't exist, so I know that group code had an issue, so I forgot to switch this. In this database, 113 doesn't exist, so I had to go back, relink it. So again, this gives you enough error if you don't, or enough information about the error to fix it. And if you don't have enough if you don't have enough information to fix it, post a question or comment, in the video, in this video, and I will try to respond, or search for SCN and just check out what they have there. Just search Google, OCRG group code. In this case, you should be able to kind of see it yourself. But if the code is kind of unusual, just go and check on Google, and it should help you there. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Check my video comments. Support me.battleshipcobra.com. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye for now.